Hello and welcome to Snetterton for round 3 of the Thursday Night GT3 Championship from Race Department on Project Cars. After the first 2 rounds at Brands Hatch, it was Season 3 champion Gazza who left the happiest, as he was top of the table. But we're here now at Snetterton for the first time in the championship's history, so all form could go out the window as we head into the feature race. Or apparently not, as Gaz replicated his round 1 qualifying by taking another pole position, and he was joined by teammate Liam. O&M made up the second row ahead of Dom, Matt, Benji, Ben, Andrew and Jeremy. New boys Razvan and Jamal claimed 11th and 13th respectively, with Frank splitting them both. And it was Indrek and Ramsey who made up the rest of the grid. To the start, and it was Liam in second who was caught napping and instantly lost a place to Adam, and yet again fast starting Dom, but it was a clean getaway by it all. Into the Montreal hairpin for the first time, and Dom made a move down the inside of Adam for P2, whilst behind there was a little bit of contact, but everyone made it through pretty much unscathed. But it was around Palmer where the real action started to happen, as Ben was hung out to dry on the outside of Benji. However, on the exit he got a tank slapper and a slight bit of contact from Andrew, causing both of them to spin across the track, Andrew having to slam on the brakes to avoid any further contact. But Andrew sportingly waited and let Ben retake the position. Replay of the start from Amari's view, and as you see, slightly outbrakes himself into the hairpin, dragging Matt with him, losing both a handful of places. Now towards turn 3, you see just ahead the incident between Andrew and Ben. At Agostini, Ramsey made contact with Frank as he was trying to pass for position, running both off the track. Meanwhile, Ben was trying hard and maybe a little bit too hard as he half spun trying to catch the back of the pack. On to lap 2, and it looked like Matt made a great move around the outside of turn 1, but under braking into the hairpin, he tagged the back of Frank's Bentley. Unfortunately for Frank, he came to blows with Ramsey again. But this battle was far from over, and Ramsey made a good move down the inside, only to see Frank superbly cut back and regain the place. Further forward, and Indrek was lagging around a lot, but Matt and later Andrew managed to pass safely. And it wasn't long until the recovering Ben managed to get through too. At the end of the Bentley straight, Andrew looked for a way past Matt into Brundle. Matt defended, but Andrew worked an excellent cutback on the exit of Nelson's, only to run wide at the bomb hole, gifting Matt back the position. It wasn't long until Ben looked to capitalise on a mistake by Andrew at the hairpin, only for the Mercedes driver to power past the Bentley on the run down to turn 3. Razvan was running well in the early laps but came unstuck at Murray's, and Amari only needed one invitation to make the most of that mistake. Andrew and Matt's battle ceased to finish, but Andrew wanted to show Matt just how good he was by performing a perfect 360 pirouette while still keeping it on the track. The other Infinite Racing driver of Benji was the next to challenge Razvan, and he made a simple and effective manoeuvre down the inside into the hairpin. The battle for second was hotly contested, with Dom leading Adam and Liam, but into Murray's, and Dom cracked under the pressure, outbraking himself into the final corner and running off the track, dropping him all the way down to 6th place. The never-ending battle caught the only McLaren on the grid of Jamal, but they made light work of him as he ran wide at Nelson's. And not long later, it was Andrew's turn to pass Jamal into Agostini. A few corners later, and Matt made a slight mistake, giving Ben the opportunity to make a pass down the straight. And with his big Bentley power, he did just that. Razvan's good start was starting to crumble away, and on the exit of Williams, he lost the rear end, spinning him across the track. After Dom's mistake a few laps earlier, he was in no mood to be wasting time battling, and he seemingly made light work of Benji. But the sheer speed of the Mercedes almost drove straight past the Corvette down the straight. But into Brundle's, and Dom overshot the corner, causing him to cut across Nelson's. Surprisingly though, he didn't readdress the position and remained ahead of Benji. Razvan was making more and more mistakes, and this mistake at Oggie's cost him a place to Ben. Andrew was sitting right in his wings, ready to pounce on any further mistakes. However, it turned out he just needed sheer speed, and he got the inside line down into turn 1. Into the hairpin note, it appeared Razvan wasn't too happy with that, as he gave him an almighty whack under braking. Amari was hot on the heels of Liam as they got down to Nelson's. On the exit, Liam made a slight mistake, allowing Amari to pounce. Dom was still on the charge, but he got spat out on the exit of the bombhole, sliding him across the track and consequently losing the place to Benji. However, it only took a lap for Dom to recatch the Mercedes driver, and he was dispatched quickly with this excellent overtake around Corums. The two O&M drivers were running well at the front, but the bomb hole caught out another driver. This time it was Amari. Even after the pit stops, you could throw a blanket over Andrew, Matt and Ben, but this time it was Ben getting past Matt at the hairpin. Jamal had this wild moment at Murray's to liven up his lonely race. Whereas teammate Razvan was probably getting quite hacked off by now. Another mistake at Nelson's. Matt was quite enjoying his battle with Ben and Andrew, but he took it upon his own accord to extend the Snetterton track by another 10 metres. Dom was now to meet in an Infinite Racing Team sandwich, but he managed to escape as he got down the inside of Benji yet again. This gave Andrew a chance to get past his teammate, and he did. That was until he ran wide at Palmer, allowing Benji to get back through. But half a lap later, and even despite running off the track, he got back past his teammate. The bomb hole claimed its next victim, and it was Razvan. Even despite his best efforts, he wasn't quite able to hold it. Whilst putting pressure under Benji, Ben ran wide at the final corner. And you can only guess what's coming up next. Ben's Siamese partner, Matt, ran the length of the straight together and the whole of turn 1. Only for Ben to maintain position at the hairpin. A few laps later though, and Ben was back in position to have another go at passing Benji, and he duly did at the hairpin. The only question remained was how long was it going to be until Matt followed him through. Up until the bomber on the same lap's your answer. Dom was still struggling and spun again, this time at Nelson's, consequently losing a place to Andrew. But Dom was determined to get the place back from Andrew, and he duly did Agostini on the final lap. But it was 2 feature race wins in a row for Gazza as he crossed the line just ahead of Adam, followed by Liam and Amari in 4th. Andrew just picked home Dom. Ben and Matt were inseparable the whole race. Benji and Jeremy were the last of the point scorers. Just outside the points were Jamal, Frank, Razvan, Indrek and Ramsey. After the race there was a bit more controversy as there were penalties dished out for 2 drivers, Dominic and Ramsey, crossing the pit exit line. They both received time penalties. Dominic's position changed down to P9 and Ramsey's stayed the same. So here are the points after round 3. So it's Gareth on top with 58 points, a whole 21 points already ahead of his closest rival Amari, who's a single point ahead of teammate Adam. Adam getting fastest lap in the feature race. Dominic in 4th with 27 ahead of Andrew, Ben and Matt. Liam in 8th picking up some recovery points, trying to make amends for his poor rounds at Brands Hatch. Just ahead of Jeremy. Lance didn't take part but is in 10th. Benjamin and Frank's last of the scorers. Jamal, Ramsey, Razvan and Indrek still yet to score. It is a lot closer in the constructor standings, however, as Spam Fritters Racing are just ahead of O&M by a single point. Team America on their own in 3rd. Infinite Racing are just ahead of Wacky Racing and Max Power Racing, who were formerly known as Fast Orange. And yet to score are Flash Racing Team and Dual Racing. Round 3 might not have been as unpredictable as some might have wished for, but it was Gazza who took a 2nd feature race victory of the season. The question is, how well will the top 5 do on the reverse grid in the sprint race?